Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. This is a short video discussing how nothing you hear from the press has anything to do with reality. George Orwell said, "Early in life I noticed that no event is ever correctly reported in a newspaper." And 40 years ago, CIA Director William Casey said, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." They've pretty much achieved their goal. Twitter has been headlining this story. Biden said to announce the withdrawal of all troops from Afghanistan by September 11. He said, "I'm now the fourth United States president to preside over American troop presence in Afghanistan. 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. I will not pass this responsibility on to a fifth." The press and social media are making Joe Biden out to be quite a hero. The problem is, though, that some of us have a memory longer than 15 minutes. The problem is that Joe Biden has been in the White House for almost half the time we've been in Afghanistan. And during the vice presidential debate in 2012, he said, "We are leaving Afghanistan in 2014, period." Biden was lying then, and he passed the war on to President Trump, who actually did make plans to get us out of Afghanistan. President Trump made a deal with the Taliban last year and was going to have us out of Afghanistan by May 1st of this year. So what Biden is doing is the exact opposite of what he says he's doing and what the press wants us to believe. He's not facilitating our exit from Afghanistan. What he's actually doing is delaying it once again. When President Trump made the peace deal with Afghanistan and got us out of Syria, the Washington Post said that he was a Russian asset. But now that Joe Biden claims he's going to do the same thing, the press is treating him as a hero. But now let's go back to the vice presidential debate of 2012. On September 11, 2012, there was a terrorist attack on the U.S. consulate at Benghazi. The U.S. ambassador was killed, and Obama, Biden, and Hillary immediately started trying to cover it up. There was an election coming up in a few weeks, so the three of them claimed that it was actually a spontaneous YouTube protest. And Joe Biden lied about the events of September 11, 2012 repeatedly in the vice presidential debate.
I would like to begin with Libya. On a rather somber note, 1 month ago tonight, on the anniversary of 9/11, Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other brave Americans were killed in a terrorist attack in Benghazi. The State Department has now made clear there were no protesters there. It was a pre-planned assault by heavily armed men. Wasn't this a massive intelligence failure, Vice President Biden?
What it was a tragedy, Martha. Chris Stevens was one of our best. We lost 3 other brave Americans. And I can make absolutely 2 commitments to you and all the American people tonight. One, we will find and bring to justice the men who did this. And secondly, we will get to the bottom of it, and wherever the facts lead us, wherever they lead us, we will make clear to the American public, because whatever mistakes are made will not be made again.
It took the president 2 weeks to acknowledge that this was a terrorist attack. He went to the UN, and in his speech at the UN, he said 6 times he talked about the YouTube video. Look, if we're hit by terrorists, we're going to call it for what it is, a terrorist attack. Our ambassador in Paris has a Marine detachment guarding him. Shouldn't we have a Marine detachment guarding our ambassador in Benghazi?
Why were people talking about protests when people in the consulate first saw armed men attacking with guns? There were no protesters.
Because
why did that go on for
what
weeks?
We were told by the intelligence community. The intelligence community told us that. With regard to Afghanistan, he said he will end the war in 2014.
With an election coming up in a few weeks, Biden was desperate to cover up his incompetence, and he made up some ridiculous lies trying to blame it on the intelligence agencies. During the debate, Biden bragged about how they killed Osama bin Laden, but there was a much bigger story developing. While Obama, Biden, and Hillary were busy being incompetent, another terror group named ISIS started taking over the Middle East. This is a graph of the number of newspaper stories about ISIS on newspapers.com. There were no stories about ISIS until 2013, and within a few weeks they'd taken over half of Iraq. Barack Obama called them the JV team while they were busy doing much more damage than Al-Qaeda ever did. Then Biden and Obama started bombing countries all over the Middle East. Obama got elected because he promised to end Bush's regime change doctrine. But then regime change became the centerpiece of Obama's foreign policy. He removed Gaddafi from Libya and wanted to get rid of Assad from Syria. After 8 years of Obama-Biden incompetence in the Middle East, President Trump quickly cleaned the mess up. But now Biden is making a mess again by bombing Syria and delaying our departure from Afghanistan. The last thing which the deep state wants is peace in the Middle East. Since the Soviet Union fell under Reagan, Middle East war has been the cash cow of the deep state. So Biden has now set an exit date of September 11th. September 11th is the date of both the World Trade Center attack and the Benghazi attack. It's not too difficult to figure out why Biden pushed the date back from May to September 11. It's pretty likely that some new incident will occur which will give Biden an excuse not to pull out of Afghanistan once again. He's been saying the same lie about leaving Afghanistan for the past 9 years. Now let's go back to 12 years ago when Joe Biden promised to deliver 5 million new green jobs. Well, those jobs never materialized, and Joe Biden is repeating exactly the same lies as he did 12 years ago. But the press and Democratic politicians never tell the truth about anything and rely on the fact that most of their audience has a very short-term memory. Yesterday, Project Veritas released a video showing CNN's technical director bragging about how they hacked the election. He said their focus was to get Trump out of office last year and hammered propaganda nonstop all year in order to make sure it happened. This is the worst imaginable election interference, trying to make the public misinformed about the candidates. And this was the same CNN who spent 4 years trying to get Trump out of office based on another lie that he had colluded with Russia to interfere with the election. According to CNN, WikiLeaks providing accurate information about Hillary was election hacking. But then CNN brags about telling nonstop misinformation about Donald Trump. The elections become meaningless when they're interfered with by organizations like CNN. CIA Director William Casey appears to have achieved his dream. With the help of the press, almost everything the American public believes is now false. And we have social media like Twitter and Facebook engaged in exactly the same disinformation campaign. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this insanity for the past 13 years. You can visit him and Kyrie on the web at realclimatescience.com.